Welcome to the Boot Room YouTube, and we're here again with Emile Heskey. Tottenham win again, third game in a row where they won without playing particularly well, but the results machine that is Jose Mourinho just keeps on churning out those victories, doesn't he? Is that the hallmark of champions yesterday? Of potential champions, I should say.
Well, potential. Yeah, I think potential. I don't think we should put them in there quite yet. But again, you've got a manager who knows how to do it, who understands the mentality, and gets the results. To be honest with you, I didn't see that result while they were playing. I didn't see that result, to be honest.
No.
But they ground out, and like you're saying, that's at times the hallmarks of champions is getting results when you're not particularly playing too well.
Yeah, that's a third game. Well, it's a second in the last 3 games where you haven't had a shot on target as well. And they do seem to be quite slow starters, and they struggle to break teams down. Does that rely on maybe someone like Gareth Bale finding a bit of form, because he still seems a little bit out of sorts?
Yeah, look, I think for the likes of Gareth Bale, I think you probably won't see the best of him for another couple of weeks, because again, everyone knows that you need to get that match fitness, you need to get that match sharpness. You can do certain things within training, but once you actually come onto the pitch, it's totally different. So we'll probably see the best of him in a couple of games' time. But he's getting their minutes, which is vital to himself and Tottenham, that he's getting their minutes under his belt. And you've seen little glimpses of it, but you want to see more consistently. But the likes of Son as well, who are phenomenal players, and they've done fantastic, to be fair to them. So you'll want to see a bit more consistency from everyone.
Yeah. I think one player Mourinho wants to see a lot more consistency from is Tanguy Ndombele, who's had a very strange Tottenham career so far, but he seems like he's maybe back in favour. You must have had teammates like yourself where there's been so much ability, but they don't produce consistency across 90 minutes.
That's the toughest thing within football, to be honest with you, is the consistency.
Yeah.
And as you said, with Ndombele, you can see it in little glimpses. 5 minutes here, 2 minutes there, a touch here, a touch there. You want more consistent. You want him to dominate a game throughout the whole time that he's on that pitch. He's got the ability to do that, but hasn't really shown that as yet. So it'll be fascinating to see if Jose Mourinho can get that out of him. Giving them a little bit of a kick up the backside with some of the comments, and he's done it with Lo Celso as well. But he's given him a little bit of a kick up the backside with some comments that he said, but still stuck with him and put him back in to go out there and try and perform. And like I said, you've seen some little glimpses of him that he looks phenomenal, to be honest. And he's got the hallmarks to be really good, but you want to see it on a consistent basis. You can't really see it in little flashes, especially at a top club like Tottenham.
Yeah. Seems like they've got the midfield balance now to get the best out of him, because Højbjerg's there, he sits, he wins the ball back, Sissoko will run all day. And that'll give players like Ndombele or Lo Celso a little bit more freedom, won't it, just to do what they want to do?
Well, they're the ones who actually create stuff. They're the ones who can drive with the ball. They're the ones who get in them little pockets and receive the ball with people around them, and then start breaking lines and asking problems of the defenders. They're the ones that you need them. If you don't have them in the team, you struggle a little bit, because you struggle with that creativity. Now, when you've got them players in the team, they're the ones that are tasked to do that. But again, you need them to step up to the plate. You can't just keep playing them and they're just there. You know, they need them to actually produce something.
Yeah. And Harry Kane, obviously, with his 150th Premier League goal, that's 150 more than Carlos Vinicius, who's had a good start to his Tottenham career, but it's going to be really difficult for him to get any chances in the Premier League, isn't it?
Well, when you're playing up front, when you've got Harry Kane up front and you play with one up front, it's difficult to actually force your way in. But in saying that, he came on and had a reasonable game when he came on. He had a shot that was brought out a great save.
Yeah.
If he's popping them in, you inevitably you'll get your goal and you'll get your confidence. And when you actually get your chance, it's for you to ask the questions of the manager.
Yeah.
To not drop you. And this is where we all talk about players that have their chances, whether it be in the cup, whatever games that they play you in, you've got to ask the manager questions of the manager to say whether I should really be dropping him or not.
Yeah. I think because Tottenham have had backup strikers before that haven't worked, Vincent Janssen, Llorente, and that just puts more pressure on Vinicius because of the people who've come before. But he's come from Portugal. He was top scorer in their league last season. He's an experienced guy, so it should work, shouldn't it? In theory.
Really, you shouldn't be looking at what everyone else has done. You really should be looking at yourself and what you can create and what you can do. Because you've just named two players there that are totally opposite to what he is about.
Yeah.
He's a lad that can get around the pitch. He can put himself about and stuff like that. He's not just about playing the ball up to him and then him holding the ball up and stuff like that and flicking it on. No, he can actually get around and create stuff for himself. So he's just got to be confident in himself. And in his abilities to score goals and create goals.
Yeah. What would you say as a player if you're sat on the Liverpool team bus or England team bus and Jared Houllier fan load up Instagram and post a very strange caption, possibly in a bag of Doritos? What on earth do you think of a Mourinho Instagram situation?
The thing is, nowadays, if you're a manager and you haven't got Instagram, you look weird.
Yeah, yeah.
So him being on Instagram or Twitter or wherever it is, social media, it's a bit weird when you haven't got it. So I think it's a must now.
Yeah.
As well, at times people have used it to change people's perception on them.
Yeah.
Because you see a different side of that person. So I think it's great to see him on it.
Yeah.
If you're asking the questions how I would have looked at it and seen Jared Houllier, that would have been weird because in my era, no one really looked. And we slowly had it towards the end of my career.
Yeah.
So I was still one of. I wouldn't have that if I was him.
I'm talking about a must for some of that managers must do really, and Mikel Arteta must sort out that Arsenal defence because they were awful yesterday. Got beat 3-0 by Aston Villa, could have been 4 or 5. And I was going to talk about Arsenal's progress under Arteta, but it feels completely inappropriate now. What was your response to the performance yesterday?
I think he's come out and obviously said that he takes responsibility for that on the way they shaped up and everything. And one thing about Arteta, he doesn't shirk his responsibilities.
Yeah.
So he took, like I said, he took the responsibility of actually he put that formation together, that strategy together, and it just didn't work. And like you're saying, horses for courses, which is great because, again, he understands that certain games need this when you're away and certain home games need that. And he just got it wrong. He was very open. I just found it very open. They weren't able to deal with the likes of Jack Grealish, who can glide past players. Watkins' pace was a threat all the time. Ross Barkley's intelligence to link up as well was great. And it never really posed a threat to Aston Villa. So, but again, it's great that he's actually taking that responsibility and saying, no, it was my fault. I did this, I did that. And wanting to put it right.
Yeah.
And that's one of the major things that I think the Arsenal fans will be happy with. He's not made excuses at this and that playing field or whatever it is, time that he's playing. He's just saying, no, I got it wrong. And let's go back to the drawing board and put it right.
Yeah. I think, Ollie Watkins obviously scored those 2 brilliant goals, but I was surprised that his hold-up play was as good as it was because he's not naturally a big centre forward. He's not a classic number 9, but he bullied Gabriel, he bullied Holding, his touch was brilliant. He turned long balls into brilliant passes. How impressed were you with his performance?
Well, that is something that, because he's come from the lower leagues, that is something that is normal, and that is something that is natural for him. You don't do that, your manager will bring you off.
Yeah.
So he has that naturally now. So people look at that and say, wow, he's doing this. Now that's normal for him. To put his body where he knows he can shield the ball, to put his head where it hurts, to chase lost causes. That's normal things for him because he's come from that lower leagues.
Yeah.
Now, when you see it in the top leagues, you're like, wow, it's great. But that's normal for him. But now he's obviously showing the other side of where he's got these cute finishes.
Yeah.
He gets in. He always stays in that box, in them channels, to score goals. He gets his shot off. He's creating chances for others. Now you're seeing that side of him. So he's been a breath of fresh air, to be honest with you, which is great.
And finally, a little word on former club Leicester City, top of the Premier League. Are they dark horses yet, or is it still too early to say?
I think it's still too early to say. I think Brendan knows what he's got with his squad, and he understands tactically where he wants them and what he wants to do for every individual game, and he's getting it right at this moment in time. The only other question is, can that be sustainable for the course of a season, not just half of a season? Because they fell away a little bit towards the end of last season, and it wasn't just after the actual lockdown. It was actually from the new year.
Yeah.
So can he have sustainability with that squad? And that's one of the things he's going to be asking himself and the team.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's all I've got time for today. But join us next time, and we'll be having a little chat about the lower ends of the Premier League. So we've got West Brom, Fulham, Adam O'Luckman's Fulham, of course, and Newcastle United. If you like that, please like, share, and subscribe, and tune in for more.